Major funding for this program is made possible by grants from HSH Nordbank New York branch and First American Title Insurance Company of New York, Perfect Building Maintenance, Greenberg Traurig LP, Allied Partners, the Moynihan Group. Additional funding for this program is made possible by grants from Antares Real Estate, Arbor Realty Trust, C.B. Richard Ellis, Cushman & Wakefield, Essex Capital Partners, Fremont Investment and Loan, Massey Knackle Realty Services, Muss Development LLC, Rosenthal & Rosenthal Inc., Signature Bank, Stonehenge Partners, Swig Equities, the Engel Berman Group, the Witkoff Group, Titan Capital, YL Real Estate Developers.
Hello, my name is Michael Stoller, the host of the Stoller Report. Everybody talks about the Hamptons. Everybody wants to be in East Hampton, South Hampton, West Hampton. But you know, you could be really close to New York City by being in the Rockaways, in Arverne, or in Long Beach. Some people call it Hampton North. Today, I'm going to have my guests tell you what's happening in the Rockaways, Arverne, and in Long Beach. My guests today include Dean Palin, President of Palin Enterprise, Jerry Romsky, Counsel of Beechwood, who is a partner with Beechwood Benjamin in Arverne, and last but not least, a returnee, both of you, Vinnie Rizzo, President of the Briarwood Corporation. What's happening? What took 30 years or 40 years to take place in the Rockaways, in Arverne? Jerry, I mean, you and Vinnie are doing things in Arverne. Why did it take so long?
Well, I think the whole peninsula is developing because of the policies of the current administration, frankly. I think the area sort of fell into a state of disrepair and really sort of sat dormant for 35 years. Various administrations tried to redevelop Arverne. It's one of the largest urban renewal sites in the country. It's 310 acres in total. It's directly on the water. It's served by the A train. There's a stop right in the middle of it. But nonetheless, things take time. And at some point in the late 90s, 2000, the HPD issued an RFP, and they sought developers for Arverne by the Sea, and they selected on the large parcel, Arverne by the Sea, the Benjamin Beechwood companies, and on the other parcel adjacent to us is Mr. Rizzo's piece.
Yeah, Vinnie, when did you start developing in Arverne and in Rockaway?
We started in Arverne, I guess about 8 years ago. We built the first portion of Water's Edge, which at that time was 42 family homes on between Beach 59th and Beach 61st Street. That was under the aegis of the HPD and our own 501c3 HDFC Corporation.
And what was there before, and what did you build? You said you built 59 homes. These were two-family or three-family homes?
These were two-family brick and plank homes. What was there before? Pretty much desolation. The particular sites that we're on were infill sites. They had some homes built on there at various times over the years, but a lot of them were starting to get a little seedy looking. Once construction is started in an area and new people start to move in, those seedy looking homes all of a sudden start sprucing up, and that's what's happened.
Now, who bought these homes? Was this a lottery? I mean, the mayor's initiative for 65,000 new homes. Was this part of the initiative to build affordable housing?
This was an affordable housing initiative. It was one of HPD's large-scale projects, and the purchases had to enter through a lottery. For the sale of 40 homes, I believe we probably went through 4,000 applicants who were screened and had to live in the homes as their primary residence and rent out one unit.
And you had to earn a certain amount, 80% of the area median income or something like that?
At the time, it was between 80 and 110% of area median.
Okay. And Jerry, I didn't forget you, Dean. And Jerry, when you did the first part of Auburn on the Sea, there was an affordable component, and now there's a market rate component. Tell my audience what the affordable component was, and then we'll continue on that.
Sure. Well, Auburn by the Sea is a total of about 2,300 units. It really was designed as a market rate development for middle-income New Yorkers. The developers, Benjamin Beechwood, voluntarily agreed to provide some level of affordability. About 15% of the units were designed for affordable units, right at about 130 of AMI.
Okay, for my audience, AMI is approximately today $70,000, so 130% is a family of four could earn up to $91,000.
For example, the pricing for the one bedrooms started about $175. The twos started about $225, and the threes started about $275. Those 3 units, those 3 buildings, which frankly, there's a funny story with that. One of the in the local paper down there, the Wave. We got a letter was written, and it was quoted, "Who were the brainiacs who built luxury housing next to the New York City Housing Authority development to the left?" And it wasn't. We like to consider it luxury housing, but it was affordable housing. And those all units that were all complete. Now we're venturing off now into the market rate component of it.
And what is the market rate? Because I know Dean is building on Beach 27th, and you also
Beach 25th.
Beach 25th, and also nearby. But
yes.
I want you to tell me about your market rate, and then I want Dean to give me a little insight.
Our market rate is comprised of 2-family homes. At the end of the day, we'll build about 700 or so 2-family homes for a total of about 1,400 units. The homes that we've sold so far, and they're all occupied and everybody has moved into them, are about 350 units as of today. We just started selling about a month and a half or so ago the next section, which we call the Breakers section, which is 133 2-family homes directly on the water, right adjacent to the boardwalk. Most of the homes have these wonderful decks, and you can see out over the water. They're very pretty homes, nicely designed. We started selling, like I said, about a month and a half or so ago. They start in the high 5s. That's product.
So somebody can have the opportunity to live on the water, the same beach as the Hamptons, the same ocean, on a boardwalk, and own a 2-family home for $595,000?
Yes, and also, remember, get a 20-year tax abatement, because this project is part of the city's UDAP program, where there's a 20-year tax abatement, and all the homeowner does is pay vacant land taxes, a couple of $100 a year at the end of the day. It really is a wonderful product.
But the homeowner must live there, correct?
Yes.
They can't be an investor.
No. One of the units must be used as their primary residence. They can obviously rent out the other unit, which is really a tried and true method, I'm sure Vinny would agree, to permit new homeowners, someone who's living in a rental unit right now somewhere in the middle of Queens or somewhere in Brooklyn, to move in and to buy their first home. It really is a vehicle, really, Vin. I think you'll agree, you've done it for many, many years, to let that person have the ability to own their first home. There's no taxes, the prices are reasonable, you're living on the water. Really is a wonderful opportunity.
And what are you doing in Auburn and the Rockaways? I mean, because you've built a couple of different types
I would say east of Gentleman's projects, we're constructing 15 3-family homes.
And where is that exactly?
On Beach 25th.
And these are 3-family homes.
3-family homes.
And these are open market rates.
They're open market.
So somebody could be an investor if they want it.
They can be an investor. We like to think they're entry-level homes. Okay, it's like
Jerry said.
Jerry said, it's their first home, and we're giving them the opportunity to have a product where they can rent out 2 units.
And what is the price of that?
3-family home Probably around $700,000.
And yours are two-family homes.
Two families, yes.
So somebody that would have a nice large apartment for themselves, and then there would be two other apartments. That they can rent. Are these on the water or like Jerry's?
These are fronting the ocean.
Are they on the boardwalk also?
They're fronting the boardwalk, right on the boardwalk.
Right. Now my question is, since this neighborhood was destitute for years and desolate, both in the same manner, finally to make a community, you have to make it a 24/7, and it's like Lower Manhattan. And now with you and the Beechwood Benjamin, you're building, tell my audience, at least some supermarket, right? I mean,
yes.
Not a supermarket.
It's a super stop and shop.
Super.
Yes, right.
So
a 65,000 square feet supermarket that will go basically right in the middle of the development. In addition to that, the construction that'll start very, very soon, probably before the end of the year, we also are building a brand new YMCA, which is a 30,000 square foot community center with a pool, an aquatic center, various rooms, a very nicely done community center. Plus, we're also building some additional retail space, about 30,000 square feet, before we get to the main center of Auburn, which is this Ocean Way development. It's the center of Auburn. It's a mixed-use development.
Is that going to be your development
also?
Yes.
It's in the middle of between the two family homes. We're building this new Ocean Way, which has about 150,000 square feet of retail with condominium units on top. That's the latter phase, but what's happening now is we're building not only the Stop and Shop, but also this new retail plaza, which is right in front of the train. The A train, I didn't tell you, actually stops right in the middle of the development. So it provides service to downtown Manhattan in 45
tell
minutes
me
or so.
this other thing, this third development sounds very interesting. So it sounds like some of these planned communities in Florida, certain other things. You're going to have retail on the bottom, and then on top you're going to have what? Apartments?
Condominiums, mixed use.
Mixed use. And how high would this be?
They're between 6 and 12 stories. It sets off the water. It's sort of mid-rise units up, sitting off on top of the
similar to what you did in the West Side, would you say, years ago with the...
Basically, the same general concept.
Right. So here, are they going to be rentals, or are they only going to be...
They'll be for sale condominiums.
So they're going to
be... the latter phase. We're first selling the two families.
Is that going to be market rate, or is that an affordable condo?
No, they'll be market rate.
And what do you foresee that?
Well, it's tough to say exactly at this point in time, but we're probably somewhere in the $500 a foot range or so.
Right, but I mean, in today's market, $500. Dean is building a magnificent building in downtown Brooklyn, and you're called the Oro, and $500 a foot in downtown Brooklyn is very close to the city. Is a great price if you could deliver it. If you could deliver it at that price. Unfortunately.
Say $750 for downtown Brooklyn.
So my question is, now let's go to the other beach. And I mean, Vinny was saying prior to the show, the last time he was in Long Beach was 40 years ago, perhaps, right? Dr. Cohn, you built the house, your dad's partner, Dr. Cohn. You did something interesting. Tell us about the Meridian and some other things you've done in Long Beach, because Long Beach is a hidden jewel,
Yeah, the Meridian was 36 units on the boardwalk in Long Beach, West Broadway. We did really well, and we're in our final phase of selling the penthouse apartments now, going into the summer season.
How tall of a building is the Meridian?
It was a 7-story building.
On the boardwalk?
Right on the boardwalk, and with oceanfront views. We catered to a lot of empty nesters, people selling their homes after their children moved out and they want to live in a condo-style living now, and instead of maintaining their house.
And how much is a unit in this? Because I'm just trying to get an idea of what Auburn is, and
depending on the size. Like we have for these oceanfront units, people are paying $800 a foot, approximately, and it could be as much as $1.5 million.
Right. Now, didn't you also build in Long Beach some homes, single-family homes? Or?
No, well, Palin Enterprises did that. It was prior.
Okay, and what did Palin Enterprise build?
Along the Long Island Expressway and
right.
south of Massapequa in that area.
Now, Do you see? Tell us about the Auburn master plan, because both of you had applied. You know, this was RFP. You know, the city gave the land, but you had to build the infrastructure, right?
Yes.
So tell my audience what that meant, and you know, because I'm such a big advocate of affordable housing. Everybody knows that I think workforce housing, people need to live, and you know, this was a great opportunity. And for 40 years, nothing was happening. Tell us about this program.
Well, I heard, you know, prices per square foot over here, and I'm just floored. I'm selling my units between Beach 59th and Beach 62nd Street for $240 a foot. Of course, I have a substantial amount of subsidies included in my job. We're again on the water, share the same niceties as both of the other jobs, and we're attracting a slightly lesser income purchaser.
I don't think though Vinny's product has a pool on the deck though, Vin. I don't think.
Doesn't have a pool in the deck.
No, wait, where's a pool?
The plan for the Ocean Way building, the condominium that we were talking about, this is a later phase, actually has a pool on the top and amenities. It's really geared for really someone middle-income person to buy that.
Right,
there's no subsidy there.
Right. Now the city has also given away another RFP to a different developer now.
Right, that was Auburn East. But our Auburn by the Sea and was actually an RFP that was let out about in the year 2000 or so. And a number of developers attempted to, I think Vinny actually submitted a proposal on the RFP. And after an extensive analysis, they selected the proposal submitted by Benjamin Beechwood, a joint venture between the Beechwood organization and the Benjamin companies. And it was a master plan community designed by Aaron Krantz, the firm that designed Battery Park City, some very large-scale projects out in Vegas, a very well-respected urban planning firm. And I think they selected the design. It's a very unique type of architecture. It's very stylistic. The roof lines are very nice. It really is a very pretty product. And I think based upon that, plus we were building a school and a YMCA, they selected Benjamin Beechwood as the developers of Auburn by the Sea. And we started developing about 2003. We started selling.
Now,
after review period.
What about Auburn East? How big of a development is that? I mean, you didn't win the RFP, guys, but how large of a development will that be?
I believe that's about 1,400 units. It includes a substantial amount of commercial space, and it's split between affordable housing and market rate housing.
So essentially what we're talking about is we're talking about 3,700 new homes, just basically on Auburn by the Sea and Auburn East. And then we're talking about some of the houses that you're building, this 42 houses, and there's some other builders, and you're building on Beach. I mean, how many homes do you see in the Rockaway, Auburn area over the next 8 to 10 years?
Well, it's a good question. Auburn East is clearly down the line. It's down the road. It's not happening now. Auburn by the Sea is being built. Vinny's product is being built now.
Right, that's why I asked the question, how many...
We will probably be done with Auburn by the Sea sometime around in the next 5 years or so. Well, how long it will take Auburn East to get underway, I wouldn't be able to venture a guess.
And I'll be done.
But wait, okay, you'll be done with your units, but now what we're doing in Rockaway is we're changing the face of Auburn. Okay, if we age ourselves, you're too young. Okay, there was something called Rockaway Playland, and Rockaway Playland was there, and you know that left, and then there were the houses that were left, the bungalows left. But now this is sounding like this has become a hidden jewel. I mean, and there's still vacant land over there. I mean, the whole question is developers, you know, owners of property, but there is vacant land. I mean, if we go down to Beach 116th Street, you know, between 90th and 98th Street, isn't there land over there to be built?
There's a lot of private land that has escalated in price, and as land escalates in price, the owners of that land always think it's worth twice as much as it really is. But basically, the owners of land that have held onto it for a long time are looking at a pot of gold.
So you believe that these people who've kept this land, I mean, perhaps, but that's in anything in the city or anywhere, you know, And what do you see developing? Do you see what Jerry's organization, are they going to be building this 6-story, these 8-story things, or are they going to build like Dean? What do you see being built? Because this is the last, with the exception of the Bronx perhaps, sections of the Bronx, this is the last great amount of space. That's what Jerry said.
I think that the product will be more of on a home. Like you'll be building homes there. Condominiums, there'll be condominiums, but the best way to utilize that land is to put a home on it and not worry about selling a whole bunch of units in a dense piece of property.
Prior the week before, a couple weeks ago on my show, I did a show in Williamsburg. And you're having a development in Greenpoint on a separate thing. I mean, it's, as you say, the A train's right over there. The Marine Park Bridge isn't far. There are express buses now to the city. I mean, can't you see maybe, and young people are being priced out, can't you see possibly them moving into Rockaway or Auburn?
I think that there is a market for the people that service all of New York City, not necessarily, Jerry mentioned before, the borough of Manhattan. It's all around the surrounding areas also.
Basically, you have two types of development which will take over, and the first is the 2 and 3 family buildings, which probably will take over the most of the vacant land, and then of course there will be some 6 and 8 story buildings around central hubs.
And so that's Jerry?
I was saying that sort of what we've done is we sort of developed this master plan. It's 117 acres. It has a substantial, most really, of 2-family homes, but it has a condominium component. It also has a residential component. It has the amenity component. It really has a mixture of everything. But all we also did, I didn't tell you, actually mention, is on the other side on Beach 80th Street, we're also developing a marina with a little catering hall facility right on the bay that overlooks Kennedy Airport. It's a very pretty component of it because it goes in hand with the need for a little bit more amenities. One thing you hear is people want to shop, they need to do something.
It's very interesting. 3 weeks ago or so, I had a show in Coney Island, and we were talking about, I had Taconic and City Investment, and they were saying that they took over the old Child's Restaurant, and what they're planning to do, because there's a need for catering, and they may make this a catering hall. There is this need. Let's change. Let's go to Long Beach now. I mean, the Meridian was one of the first few developments in how many years? 20 years? 25 years?
No, there was a similar development next door, but yeah, pretty much we were pioneering in that phase in bringing it back to Long Beach.
And what about this super block, which has been on discussion for 10 years? What is the super block in Long Beach? Because Long Beach, and then I want you to answer the question, Long Beach is a lot of younger people who work in Nassau County have made Long Beach a place where they're coming back to. I mean, it was Island Park at one time, and they really want it. There are a lot of restaurants, there are bars. It's a nice place, and it's a nice, the same way. What's the super block, and what's that happening?
I don't know exactly what it will encompass, but there's a lot of condominiums on the ocean, and I think there's plans of a hotel. And I mean, it's a very popular beach, and like you said, a lot of young people who want an alternative to urban living live there, and they're properly serviced with the train station 2 blocks away, 2-3 blocks away.
But, Long Beach is Nassau County. Auburn and Rockaway is New York City. And we were saying prior to the show that if somebody is buying in a market rate or something and they're getting this tax abatement for 10 to 20 years and they're going to, there's a different person buying in Long Beach as opposed to Auburn.
Yes. Like I said, it's in Long Beach. You have couples that their kids went off to college already. So they've lived in the house for 20 some odd years. Now they're ready to move on to something else and also realize the value that, they can sell their home that they've had, that they've
Right,
bought
they're gonna be
25
able to
years
take the
ago
property.
and trade up.
You know, the week before, I had a show on hospitality, and I had people, and I failed to ask two questions on the show. One was I failed to ask a person who is building in Queens, what's his position, and what's your thoughts in Auburn? Could you see a hotel being built in Auburn or the Rockaways?
Well, it is.
I mean,
close,
because
it is close to the airport.
Coney Island, you know, they are thinking of this hotel, but there's an amusement component.
We've had actually interest in developing a hotel on the marina site over by the bay. We just haven't confirmed whether it actually work in conjunction with the existing zoning, and we'd rather not rezone it. But they, you know, according to the hotel guys, and we're not the hotel guy, that there is apparently some demand for a hotel in that area because they'll service something to do with the airport. There's
Right, it's not far from the
right.
airport and so
the
on.
AirTran is, you know, it stops with the A train right at the Howard Beach station. The A train connects to the AirTran. You're in the airport in literally 10 minutes, which is really why even Auburn and Vinny's development is really perfect for someone working in the airport, because it's literally, you don't have to get into a car. You could be at your job in 20 minutes by public transportation.
What about you? Do you think there'll be this second hotel or a third hotel in Long Beach? Because Long Beach really doesn't have. They have one or two small little hotels.
I think it's a very seasonal area. So it depends on how the businessman running that hotel can weather the off-season. I think it'll be perfectly fine during the summer months when it's really beautiful to be around the boardwalk and the beach and the whole area, and the proximity where they can get around throughout the entire island and to New York. But then again, it is a business, and they would have to evaluate how they would
and the
hold their
hospitality
own.
business is operating a business as opposed to owning a piece of real estate, because it's a true operating business. So, you know, the way it looks to me is, you know, finally, after many years, the city, you know, because there's a need, is really making a major change for Auburn, the Rockaways, and Suffolk County and Nassau County with Long Beach. And I think, you know, there's a great time, and I think there's a great opportunity. And what, you know, Beechwood Benjamin, the Briarwood organization, the Palin organization has been doing to this neighborhood is really complimentary. And this is going to provide much needed housing for the city of New York.
And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't really applaud the current administration, because it really is a joint partnership with the mayor's office, with the deputy mayor Doctoroff, and John Donovan, the HPD commissioner, who we work in really on a daily basis with.
Yeah, I
to really
wouldn't
see these projects.
Without them,
success.
we wouldn't have the opportunity
Right.
like Palin Enterprises has in downtown Brooklyn. I mean, they really help.
I'd like to thank the three of you, because I think we got a great discussion, and I know that I've been remiss on my shows, you know, over the past couple of years of really explaining what's happening in the Rockaways in Auburn and in Long Beach. I'd like to thank Dean Palin, Jerry Romsky, and Vinny Rizzo for being here, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.
Major funding for this program is made possible by grants from HSH Nordbank New York branch and First American Title Insurance Company of New York, Perfect Building Maintenance, Greenberg Traurig LP, Allied Partners, the Moynihan Group. Additional funding for this program is made possible by grants from Antares Real Estate, Arbor Realty Trust, C.B. Richard Ellis, Cushman and Wakefield, Essex Capital Partners, Fremont Investment and Loan, Massey Knackle Realty Services, Muss Development LLC, Rosenthal and Rosenthal Inc., Signature Bank, Stonehenge Partners, Swig Equities, the Engel Berman Group, the Witkoff Group, Titan Capital, YL Real Estate Developers.